We've shared a lot with you over the years, the highs, the lows, the sunsets, the storms, and just about everything in between. Ruby Rose 2 was built to be our dream. And for a while we poured ourselves into every detail, every choice of that design, every element and every ounce of preparation. But not everything turned out quite the way we hoped. Some aspects of this experience were, more challenging than we anticipated. And while we've spoken very openly about many of the things that we've faced, there are others we'll simply, we'll let rest beneath the surface for now. So we made a decision to move on, not in haste, not in anger, just with a lot of clarity. Because sometimes the dream shifts, and when it does, the most honest thing you can do is to follow it. This isn't a goodbye to sailing, and it certainly is not the end of our story. But it is time for us to let go of this chapter, for us to let go of Ruby Rose 2, and for someone else to begin theirs. We are incredibly proud of what we have built, and we are ready to pass this torch. So if you're looking for a world-class liveaboard, ocean-ready performance catamaran, she is available now. You can find the full listing, the specifications and contact details in the description below. And if you're ready, she's ready for the next chapter. But if you want to talk about stories and chapters, go to the end of this video because we have some really, really exciting news.
Oi. Good morning. This is what I look like when I've been awake for approximately 2 minutes. We've decided to set the alarm for once. We set the alarm for 6 a.m. and decided to get going really early because there is no wind this morning and we need to head north. And as I said about a billion times, the winds here are northerly. If we have any hope of going north, we need to wait for essentially a no wind day. Westerlies are setting in apparently about 1-ish, and until that point there's barely any wind. But I can feel a little breeze right here. Maybe that's just like the morning adiabatic or whatever they're called winds. This lights come off a little bit, the little ring. Let's see if it's today. Don't know if that needs to be fixed.
Good morning, Ruby Roses. It is 17 minutes past 6. Yeah, I am tired. We've been up 17 minutes and we're already up and gone. Coffee has not been made yet. We have a big day today. Not so much in distance, but because we have to head from this island, which is Samos, back to the island of Chios. Now, that in itself is only about 50 nautical miles, which in itself is nothing to really crow about. However, the issue that we have is that to get from Samos to Chios can be a pretty gnarly upwind passage. There is a wind funnel that kind of like comes through here, and if you remember the episode we made a while back now when we came down here, the wind funnel at the tip of this island took us over 30 knots, and that was pretty lively when we were going downwind. The weather forecast today, the meteorology, is for flat calm. And that means that basically we need to make use of every second we can of the lack of wind. So yeah, we set an alarm very early and we will head off. It's going to be a motor again. So we have 2 different weather apps. We use Predict Wind and we use Windy, and those 2 models, or those 2 apps use, you can look at all the models, and there is no consensus in the models. So we take the weather forecast with a pinch of salt, especially local weather. We'll just to deal with what we get given. Coffee will be later. It's too early for even coffee, isn't it? Yeah.
Beautiful morning out on the water. The forecast so far is proving correct. We've got about 6 knots of true wind, which is giving us about 12 knots of apparent wind, which is why you can see that I've got a bit of breeze in my hair. and it's a very calm sea state, which is lovely. Haven't had that for a while. I think I can see Chios. I can certainly see the coast of Turkey. Strange to think that we're going back. Not all that much to report, to be honest. We're just sitting and just had our coffee and enjoying the early morning sunshine and fresh air. So yeah, very happy to be on our way, and I'm glad that we took the opportunity to jump north while we had this very low wind morning. We had an alternative plan to clear out of Greece in Samos and then clear into Turkey in Kusadasi, and then take kind of a slightly different route back to Foça, but this is more direct, and it also has the benefit of us being able to clear out of Chios instead and clear into Chesme, which I think logistically and bureaucratically is a bit more straightforward. It's the same way that we did it coming into Greece, except in reverse, and so we kind of at least are familiar with what to do and where to go and who to talk to. So anyway, this way we don't have to pay anything to any marina or dock. We just need to pay an agent when we go back into Turkey. That's compulsory, nothing to be done there. But at least with the clearance into Chesme, which won't be this episode, it'll be next episode, we get a few hours on the town dock or on the clearance dock for free, so we can go ashore and get whatever we need to get and do whatever we need to do. Lovely, calm sea state, low wind, and it's just really nice to be out here. What's in there? Just bananas and peanut butter? Ice? Milk?
Oh, this is lovely, isn't it?
Yes. Very close.
Isn't this lovely?
First time I've been able to sit up here for
I know, a long while.
a while. We've had really choppy conditions, so.
I need to get on and get that eye sorted out as well.
Are you going to do that now?
Well, we've got to anchor again. I might as well do it in case it pops out.
So you're going to have to unbend it.
Yeah, I think it's a job to... I'm not going to take this eye out, not for love or not.
No. Yeah, so the problem is this morning when I took the anchor up, this part of the rope kind of just came off, and it turns out that this is bent. So the actual line part of it is kind of falling off.
You can't see it, it's just a line, just a whip line there.
Yeah.
At some point we've got a lateral force on this and it's distorted this.
Alright, change of plans for the fifth time today or so. Just north of the kind of port of Chios, there is a marina which has not been, it's been built, but it hasn't been taken over by anyone to actually be commissioned, is my understanding. So it's kind of unfinished, but the concrete docks are all in place, and there's just no water or electricity pedestals or anything like that. There's no management, it's not being run by anyone, but the kind of docks are all there with a really apparently significant breakwater. So it's about a mile north of the port, and I said to Nick, why don't we give that a go, because the port, which you may recall if you watched the episode where we first came to Chios, and if you didn't, then I'll try to remember to link to it up here. It does get very choppy in anything over 10 knots, which is obviously still very light winds. At the moment, we have about 10 knots of wind, and you know, we do have a forecast for the next 24 hours for very, very light winds. But we just want to kind of leave the door open to stay for a few days if that's what we choose to do. instead of rush over to Turkey. So we're going to go to the marina just because it's going to be secure regardless of the weather, and it's going to be comfortable regardless of the weather. We'll put our nose in, we'll see if there's somewhere for us to tie up, and if it's full or if it doesn't look like something we want to do, then that's fine. We'll just go to the port and we'll stay there for tonight, and then we'll have a think about it and see whether we stay tomorrow or not. So that's the newest plan. We made it. That was fairly straightforward, actually. How was that for you? Was that as good for you as it was for me?
Yeah, I'm kind of like, yeah, my own error that made us do it twice.
That's fine.
No, doing it twice is fine. As I said, it's just, strangely enough, there's enough of a wind coming forward, like blowing us off, for me to have to redo that.
Yeah, well, anyway, I'm grateful for any breeze because it's extremely hot in this marina.
Free marina?
We are.
Oh, and there's a petrol station up there because I need dinghy fuel.
Oh, there you go. Apparently, allegedly, there's a very good supermarket nearby, but I think it's closed on Sundays, and it's a Sunday, so we can go tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, you know, free marina. Certainly in the absence of any anchorage near here, it's as good as you're going to get. Good evening, everyone. We are going to do a little bit of data gathering regarding our air conditioning and how much power it actually uses up and how much of our battery capacity it uses up overnight. Did you just make a noise?
Just water pump.
Oh. So we are in Chios, the abandoned marina here in Chios, and there is no shore power, and it's quite a still, muggy night. We don't have any real airflow. Even when we're in town, there's very little breeze. So we got back on board and the temperature on board is 30 degrees. It's very warm. And we thought, you know what, we've got 96% battery. I know I just showed you 95%. It was 96% 10 minutes ago when we got on the boat, and let's run the air conditioning tonight. One thing that we are doing differently tonight versus the last time we did this little experiment is we've turned off all of our electronics. So as you can see, we don't have any of our electronics on because we're not at anchor. Normally at anchor we do leave them on, obviously tied up to a concrete pontoon. We have turned everything off. So I don't know to what extent that will make a difference. So we'll see. I'm interested to know compared to last time. But, you know, to be honest, we don't actually run the air conditioning all that much at anchor, so we don't really know, like, for certain how much of our battery capacity we use. So it's really good for us to keep doing this so that we actually have a good idea. So, okay, a little bit of extra information before I get into my predictions. Yeah, as you can see, 31 degrees in here, very warm. We've put it on low fan at the moment, and I think we've set the temperature to 23. We will put it on nighttime mode when we go to bed, which will probably it's 20 past 9, so maybe in about an hour we'll put this onto nighttime mode. That is something we didn't do last time. We thought we did it. I don't think we did because it was still on in the morning when I got up. So we'll do that and we'll see what the batteries are doing in the morning. So it's 95% right now at 9. I think that by the time I get up, which will probably be about 7, that hopefully the aircon would have turned itself off a few hours before that point. And my prediction is, I reckon it'll be around 50%, potentially a little bit less. And then by the time we start putting power back into the batteries, it probably won't be till like 9 o'clock or so, maybe 10 o'clock. I think we'll be down to about 40%. So that's my prediction. Remember that the battery capacity kind of gauge on our C-zone is the total amount of usable battery capacity. So we have lithium batteries, we can run them down to 20%, but what we have on C-zone is 100% of that 80% usable capacity, if that makes sense. So we have a little bit of extra wiggle room, well, mentally. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed. It's so warm up here. Nick, have you got the fan on? Yes. And I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning. It's 20 past. Just check the batteries. Interesting, 60%. Much better than I was expecting. We'll try that over the next couple of hours because it will continue. As you can see, we're still drawing 11 amps. So yeah, that will continue to deplete. I was expecting them to be far more depleted than that. So I think the bedtime setting obviously does work. I heard the aircon go off, turn itself off. So I think the fan goes off and then about an hour later the entire system goes off or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, point being is that I heard the air conditioning go off at about 5. And yeah, what did we have on? About 23 degrees on low fan setting. Just the one hull. Don't have any of our instruments on, which is something we did differently last time. So yeah, that's very interesting. I'm pleased about that. I can see the sunrise. I'll show you. God, I slept so badly last night. You know, when we've been at anchor for, we were just saying to each other before, the last time we had shore power and therefore air conditioning was in Niceros, which was ages ago. We've been at anchor this whole time. We haven't had the aircon on because it's been so nice at anchor. We haven't needed it. It's just been so beautiful the weather. So that's the first time we've had aircon on in ages. And yeah, you know when you get used to like sleeping and it's like quite nice and warm, and then suddenly it's freezing cold comparatively, and you're like, oh jeez, not comfortable. Okay, beautiful sunrise though. Got a bit of a creaky line situation though on our spring, so I think the wind's literally just picked up in the last, hour, because I've just started hearing that creak. So I'm going to put another spring on, not right now, I'll wait till next up. I'm not dealing with the lines right now, but I'll put another spring on here to go back, and I'll make that spring a bit tighter so that it takes the weight of the boat off that spring, and therefore it won't like creak. The stern cleat might creak, but that won't bother us because it's all the way down here. Oh, time for coffee. Correction, Nick just woke up and told me that he set the temperature on the air conditioning to 25 degrees because the thermostat is up here, and it's always a lot warmer up here than it is down in the cabin. So if we set it to like 22 up here, the cabin is like super, super cold. So he set it to 25. So I think that maybe has something to do with it as well. All right, it is 9:20 in the morning, and let's see. We've got 57% battery capacity, and we're just about at parity.
All right, update. So we got cleared out on the port police side of things, but customs and immigration say we only have 2 hours to leave the country once they've cleared us out.
Should we go and tell?
Yeah, okay. We've been told by various other people it's 24 hours. I think that's the case maybe with other officials in Greece, but this particular office obviously only want 2 hours between clearance, outbound clearance, and actually leaving the country. So that's okay because we're leaving tomorrow, not today. So we'll come tomorrow morning, first thing, and clear out.
Well, here's the big announcement. Let's just come out and say we wrote a book. I know, we're just as surprised as you are. We have been writing this book for 2 years, and it is 300 pages of our experience on paper. After years of trial and absolutely spectacular error, sailing across oceans, fixing toilets in the dark, and occasionally threatening to kind of just set fire to the boat by a goat farm in Wales, we realised something. There's a lot we wish we'd known when we started. So we wrote the Boat Life Manual. It is no-nonsense, slightly cheeky, totally practical guide to sailing off into the sunset without sinking your boat or your finances. It's not just our story, it's everything we've learned, everything we've messed up and figured out the hard way. Now on paper, so you don't need to figure it out. Think of this as a kind of blueprint for your own great escape, or at the very least, a solid excuse to hide in the toilet and dream about your escape. The Boat Life Manual is available now. The links are all below. And if you've ever dreamt of doing what we did, but in a kind of slightly less messed up way, this book is for you. And in addition to that, Dee Kafari wrote our foreword. Such a badass sailor, helping us to kind of like promote this book is kind of the cherry on the icing of the cake. So click on the link, and we're now moving to paper.